Hello and welcome to the Last Looks podcast, a show where we catch up with talented hairstylists and makeup artists in the film and television industry. We'll pick their super creative brains and find out all the good stuff. Join me, your host, Jamie Lee, in finding out what's what in the hair and makeup departments around the world.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Melanie, so great to have you back on the Last Looks podcast.
Thanks, Jamie Lee. It's great to be back.
Now, last week you shared with us how nourishing and repairing Hask's argan oil collection is. Can you talk to us about another Hask collection that hairstylists trust and love to use on set?
Absolutely. Let's chat about our rising star, tea tree oil and rosemary. This is our invigorating scalp care collection consisting of 4 precisely designed products. First, you have the shampoo and conditioner, which are designed to soothe and revitalize the scalp. Your senses awaken with this purifying tea tree oil and rosemary formula. The invigorating shampoo and conditioner duo help lift buildup and impurities while nourishing the scalp, resulting in a refreshed, healthy-looking hair.
That sounds like a great way to start a long day on set.
Definitely. And then you have the tea tree oil and rosemary hair and scalp treatment mask, which I'm very excited to say won the 2020 Best of Beauty Award by Allure magazine.
That's amazing.
It's really exciting for the brand. And this invigorating deep conditioner treatment mask gently detangles, softens, and moisturizes strands while leaving the scalp feeling rebalanced and refreshed. It's perfect for all hair types, and it's especially great in the upcoming dry winter weather. We complete this collection with the tea tree oil and rosemary 5-in-1 leave-in spray. This multi-benefit leave-in spray is infused with an invigorating blend of tea tree oil and rosemary to help condition hair and promote a healthy feeling and looking scalp. The leave-in spray's 5 formula benefits are cools and soothes, detangles, conditions and tames frizz, adds shine, and provides thermal protection. We're very proud of the work that goes into developing and launching the Hask collections of hair care products. What makes it even more exciting is to see that the Hollywood styling community has given the brand their seal of approval, as Hask is used behind the scenes more than any other hair care brand. Creating consistent, gorgeous, camera-ready results every single time is easy with Hask.
Absolutely. I know we have Hask in our trailer. Melanie, thanks to you and Hask for being part of the podcast today. I've been learning so much.
Jamie Lee, it was a pleasure to be here today. And let me leave you and your listeners in the industry with this. The Hask brand welcomes the opportunity to continue building our relationship with the Hollywood styling community. If we can support a project you're working on, send us an email at hask@stonemanagement.net. We'd be happy to help.
That's awesome. Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you.
And now, our feature presentation.
Today, I'm speaking with hair and makeup designer Sharon Martin. Sharon's work can be seen in films such as Okja, Snow White and the Huntsman, and The Last King of Scotland. Sharon shares with us how wonderfully collaborative it is to work with Tilda Swinton, the design process she went through for Snow White and the Huntsman, and she chats about the incredibly exciting projects she's been working on recently.
Pictures up.
Last looks. Rolling.
And action.
Welcome to the Last Looks podcast, Sharon.
Hi, thank you, Jamie. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Now, I would like you to finish this sentence for me, okay?
Okay.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Sharon, and when she grew up, she wanted to be...
Makeup and hair artist.
You did?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love when people knew like so early on. That's awesome.
Oh, God. Yeah. I was like, the first time I saw a makeup artist at work, I think I was like 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what I now know to be a photo shoot. At the time, I didn't. Okay. I thought, what are they doing? And she had like an artist palette and she walked across the road and kind of touched her face. And I was just walking home from school and I was looking at this thing going, what are they doing? Okay, right. And then that was it. I left and that's never left me.
Wow. So I wonder what would have happened if you didn't come across that on the street. That's amazing.
I mean, by then I'd shaved my friends' eyebrows off and, tried to straighten their hair with a hot fork and stuff like that. So, I was on my way.
That's very cool. So you're already experimenting when you were young on other people.
Yeah, totally.
And did any of the family end up being experimented on as well?
Oh God, yeah, everyone had to, it's like, because it's that thing. I mainly because, you can, my mother is a hairdresser. She trained as a hairdresser. My family are from Jamaica. And so she trained as a hairdresser in the 1950s before she came to England.
Oh, wow.
So she came to England as a qualified hairdresser. And she then went to work in the National Health Service as a nurse, but she always did hair because there were no Afro hair salons that they could go to. So, my mom would do hair at home on her days off. So all her friends would come and, my mom was making like hair wefts. I remember her making, wefts with yak's hair to stitch into, to make a weave onto her friend's hair. And she would hot comb and straighten the hair, and then it would sort of blend in until, about 5 minutes later when the moisture hit it. But that was the weekends at home. Those were the Saturday mornings. And so I just used to just get involved and helped her and, and learned from her.
That's very cool. So your hair must have always been looking pretty good too, huh? If your mum's doing it for you. You're like, she didn't quite do what I wanted.
Looking good is probably not the word, because I experimented. My mother always said to me, she goes, I can't believe you've got hair, because I remember actually I wanted my hair to be pink. I wanted pink hair. I wanted it to be cyclamen, that particular cyclamen. It was crazy color times, like in the 80s. Yeah. And so I decided to just bleach it. Oh. So I put the peroxide on for like an hour. Because, and I just waited and waited until it was white. And then when I put the cyclamen on, because it was too white, it was just pink. It wasn't cyclamen, because cyclamen has like a depth to it. It was just bright pink. And I started crying because I know my mum's going to kill me, and my mum and dad. Like, what has she done now? Because, by then I'd cut it and do all kinds of rubbish to it. But this pink hair, so I thought, I have to get rid of this pink hair before they get home. So I then started mixing browns and blacks from my mum's hairdressing cabinet. And then by the time they came home, I was ginger. My dad came home. I literally looked like like those red squirrels, those grey squirrels. That's what I looked like. And the colour was, each day it goes on, if you put moisturiser on your hair, it just rubs off. So it's a different colour. And my dad just decided, look, I don't want to see you, so you have to stay upstairs. So whenever my dad came home, I just had to go to my bedroom because he could not look at me.
He's like, I don't want any part of this. Go away.
Yeah, I literally want none of this. And then, so from there, then I had my 21st, and I was having my 21st birthday party, and I decided I was going to have a haircut. I wanted the Grace Jones flat top, but I didn't say anything to anyone. I left the house, I'd booked into the hairdressers, and I went and I came home shaven at the sides with the Grace Jones flat top for my birthday party that night. Oh my God. That was another, you're not, we don't want to see you, just stay in your room moment. And then we went to the venue for the party, and everyone's arriving going, oh my God, you look great, you look amazing, you look fabulous. Because I've put the full makeup on, the 80s, extended eyeshadows, and I'm out, and I am Grace Jones. And as the evening wore on, my mum kind of said, I guess it looks okay. Because everybody else liked it. So she kind of felt pressured into accepting it. But so that was me. And then when I said I wanted to train in hair, my dad said, you can't do that, because, coming from an immigrant background, everyone wants to do better, and the fear for your children and all of this stuff. And he said, your mum does hair in the back. That's not a career. You need to be a nurse or a secretary, because all my cousins and everything, they're kind of, corporate people. And I'm like, I don't think so. So I just, enrolled into college and went and did hair. But at the time, that was the hair side of it. But I knew I didn't want to work in a salon. I knew that there was something else out there that I wanted to do with this in a creative way. So it was a real exploration, because this was late 70s, early 80s. I mean, no one we know comes from that kind of background. Nobody is involved with it. It's such a foreign thing that you're talking about. I remember my mum saying that I only want to do makeup because I'm so vain. I just want to look at myself all the time. And so it was literally out on a limb, trying to find your way. And and I've been really lucky in meeting people where you kind of position yourself. Basically, I ended up going to work in the theatre because I then realized that it'd be good to kind of learn about wigs and stuff like that. So I went to work in the theatre so I could kind of polish up on those skills. And working in the theatre and doing other jobs and stuff, because of course now my parents are not supporting it at all, because what are you doing? And you wear just terrible clothes. You never look smart.
Like, I'm an artist.
Exactly. It's like you never look smart, and you've got holes in your clothes, and you wear khaki trousers, because in the Caribbean it's like the field workers wear those clothes. And then here's my dad, with his 2 daughters, and then suddenly it's like, this is what they wear, and he's ashamed. Yeah. Because you're not really representing. But it was just that thing. It was literally, I knew what I wanted to do. How I was going to get there, I had no idea.
Yeah, but you're going to work it out.
I'm going to figure it out. And I, now when I look back on it, I think, God, that was such a great journey. I really, really enjoyed it, because the kind of nooks and crannies that you get into and the people you meet and the kind of, but back in those days you could hustle. There was a hustle. Now I think everything is a little bit more linear. You kind of have to be connected, and there is a right and a wrong way to do everything, which I think in a lot of ways kind of stifles creativity. But just to kind of you just find your way. And a lot of times young people ask me now, it's like, how do I get into the industry? And still, there's no real direct way into the industry. No. But what you need is tenacity. You have to be tenacious and be prepared to just be ready for anything at any time.
Yeah, because it's not like there's not an ad in the classifieds in the paper for hair and makeup artists wanted for film.
Yeah. Good rate of pay, lunch provided, all of that stuff. No, that doesn't exist. It's like it's like a mythical creature. It's just like, where?
How do I find this?
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about, I'm sort of helping with this school that's been launched over here, the London Screen Academy.
Okay.
Which Barbara Broccoli and the Working Title team and a bunch of other producers, like well-known producers, they've been thinking about giving something back. So started it's a 6th form. So your last 2 years at school is spent at this school learning about the film industry.
Oh wow!
And it's incredible, because the school opened last September, and the school is basically like a film set. You have each department is represented, from props to grips to catering. The whole thing is literally like a movie set.
Wow! And
you do your regular studies alongside that, but it just means that by the time you get onto a film set, it's not a foreign place, because, I don't know if you can remember how foreign arriving on set was.
Oh, yeah.
you're just in the wrong place. There's all these people. What do they do? All of this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge, I think is a great thing. And those 2 years, if you decide not to go directly into the film industry and you want to go to university, they're credits. They're like 3 A levels. You can still go to university.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm kind of championing that. I've been, supporting that. I've done lots of open days and talks and, trying to get the students, because the idea of it for Eric and Tim and Barbara and all that is to kind of get a more diverse industry, because how it's all kind of family led, it's like people know each other, and this is my brother, and then the Grips, they're all brothers and sisters and uncles, and the Sparks and all of that stuff. So it's just to get more people in.
Yeah, open it up a bit.
Yeah, which can only be a good thing. So so I've been quite active with that. That's been my pet project.
That's very cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. And so when you were in college for hairdressing, was makeup included in that, or was that something that you kind of more learned
makeup
on the job?
Makeup was not included. It was a hair course. And I then went to makeup school after that. I worked for my dad, because my dad had a building company, so I worked for him, being his secretary, general runner, whatever you might want to be called. And so I worked for my dad and saved the money, because they wouldn't pay for it for me, and I had to pay for it. So I paid and went to makeup school.
It's like this. I love how parents do this. It's just kind of like, no, we're not going to help her. Like, if she really wants to do this, then she's going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, then you'll have to
I think in the back of your mind, you're just like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do this. It's going to happen.
Exactly. And then you look back and you just go, but they literally had no idea. And then sadly for my poor dad, he's got 2 daughters, and my sister's an actress, and that was another thing. That was the worst thing. It's just like, why would they want to do this? Where have they got these ideas from?
Yeah. How have we failed as parents?
Exactly. Why me? Look at my brother's children. They all work in the city, and they're all very smart. And, I'm not embarrassed, not embarrassed. They're not embarrassing them at Christmas time, turning up in crazy makeup and crazy hair and all this stuff. And it's like, being the laughing stock of the family. But,
I'm sure it turned around at some point, though, did it?
Absolutely. Because, once I was doing my makeup, then, I could do the makeup for my aunts and, my mum and all this. I remember doing my Auntie Norma's makeup, and she gave me 50p to buy my crisps. That was my wages, my first paid. She said, "You can buy yourself some crisps, Sharon," and gave me 50p.
You're like, I'm a true artist now. I'm being paid for my work.
Paid work, I'm getting there.
That's awesome. I love it.
But now, I remember, my mom, before she passed away, was very proud, just, if I've done something and it's coming on the TV, it's like, it's a big, whatever, the production or whatever. She's telling all her friends, Sharon's show is coming on. It's like, I'm not even in it.
Yeah. That's so cool, though.
Yeah, the Sharon show. And then luckily it paid off also for my sister. She has become quite successful. Yeah, so it's all paid off, really. And again, it takes me back to just being tenacious. Just, you've got to stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that I picked up as well, was just like persistence. Just be persistent. Keep knocking at those doors. Keep
knocking
going
at those doors, and just muscle. Just muscle your way in. It will pay off.
So after you finished makeup school, is that when you started going in and doing theatre work and stuff?
Yeah, I think from makeup school is where I learned about the kind of where my knowledge was lacking in the wigs and knotting and all that stuff, because we did little bits of that.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so after that, that's when I thought, I'll go down the theatre route, because there was also, there was a point when I thought I could just do like fashion makeup and just, do that. But I didn't like the world, it felt more difficult to get into because you had to be a part of an in crowd. People wouldn't pay you for stuff. You'd be paid with a top or a handbag and all of that stuff. And you're like, oh my God, how do we pay the rent if you've just got like a nice jacket for this week's work?
Yeah.
So that was not going to be an option. So I tried to get into the theatre. And again, getting into the theatre was really difficult. I went in as a dresser with costume to wait until there was a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was dressing, and then the wig master. Remember, he was really, really lovely, very kind, and he would let me. I could go in early when they were dressing the wigs before I had to start work, and I could go in and watch them and help and get involved, and then go over because I made sure everyone knew that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah,
and this was my holding bay until somebody left.
That's cool.
Or sometimes you could cover, if there was a swing cover, you think, oh, someone's off, then you could get a chance to like put the wig on or something, and it's just being there, like I'm here, and when the job comes up, then I'm going to have it.
Yeah, that's very cool. So how long did you work in theatre?
I worked in theatre for years, actually. So I worked in theatre, I think on and off for about 3-4 years.
Okay.
And then from there, during that time, I sort of got into doing pop promos, which was a big thing in the 80s, doing pop videos. Yeah, it was just going pop promos then. So you were doing like all these big, videos and video shoots and things. So this is feeling more like it, I'm living the dream.
That's cool.
Yeah, doing videos and meeting more people, between doing theatre and doing the music videos. And that was kind of keeping me going. And then I was asked to do a tour with a band.
Okay.
And so I had to leave the theatre to go do the tour. And so I did. I just went on the world tour with a band at the time all called Soul to Soul.
Oh, wow.
And
Cool.
and they were huge. And I went out as a makeup artist with them and went on the road. Great fun.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of fun to be had. Traveling the world, 70 strong, rolling in Japan and, and Australia and New Zealand and Brazil. And then then all across America. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe this.
It's amazing. So cool.
Yeah. No, it was a great, great time, because it was like, at the time, it was kind of like a movement, it just felt like the right place to be. And yes, I was very much involved with that. Then, of course, we came back and I had to go back to the theatre.
You're like, I'm well travelled now and I'm back at the same theatre.
Back to the theatre, do some work, do some shifts, and then, see what comes up next. And then there were 2 girls in the wig department who were kind of doing bits of crowd work and working in the theatre. And so I kind of connected with them. And then trying to get bookings as well, going into the crowd and working and stuff. And then just from there, it just kind of snowballed, meeting people.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, okay, here we are.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What was the first kind of like full-time TV or film job that you were on?
I remember there was like a chat show that I did.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it now, but there was a chat show, and the producer for that chat show, she was doing like a comedy show. But what I remember really clearly is that what we used to work on a lot is, at the time, Channel 4 used to make short films, 10 minutes films.
Oh, wow.
So so you did Channel 4 Shorts was a big thing. So all the students from the National Film and Theatre, everyone who's trying to be a director, trying to be a costume designer, trying to be a makeup artist would all get together and be doing these shoots. So, there's a few colleagues of mine now who I met on those jobs who are now still producing and still working in the industry. So that was a really good start for everyone. These like little shoots, and then you're working these awful night shoots, and, there's no, they've not been given permission to film anywhere. So you're guerrilla-ing it, and there's no makeup truck. You're making up in the toilet. You know,
I know. I think there's something to be said for doing those jobs like that, though, because it really does,
100%,
because when you get further down the line and someone's just like, can you just do this here? And you're like, yeah, I can.
Yeah. Oh, suddenly, you need like this cut or this wound. And then now, like with this generation, they think, oh my God, I don't have a pro bondo.
Yeah.
Nothing's been prepared. And you're like, we need to do this.
Yeah.
So,
do it now.
Yeah, exactly. So you get your mortician's wax out, you get your whatever you need to get out, and then you just going to get that done,
Yeah.
And yes, I know it's raining and whatever is happening, but this hair needs to be straight and we need to keep it like this. So, we just need to figure this out. I remember I did a film with a colleague of mine was designing it, Pebbles, and she working with Shane Meadows. And, everything is improvised. So they would get together, the actors, in the mornings, they'd have a chat and figure out what they were going to do today. And they come out and they're like, do you have a wig that looks like this? Do you have any facial hair that looks like this? You're like, oh, not really, but I can.
Yeah.
And
pulling things out of the hat.
because you're already there, you can't say no.
Yeah.
Because, they figured all this out. And so now, like you say, when, you get prep time and fittings and, all of this stuff, it's a luxury.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a luxury.
It's amazing how much you do have to really think on your feet and be able to troubleshoot and just... Yeah.
But that's the thing. I was talking to a colleague of mine yesterday. She's a costume designer. We went for a walk together and we're saying about, how you get to a certain stage and it's not even so much about your skills anymore. You're managing and troubleshooting and doing all this stuff. And it kind of like you think, oh, really? There's a really nice look there that I'd like to do. But if you get locked into that, then that means the rest of your show, you're going to be missing in the rest of your shows. Like when the next characters come up, who's going to prep them? When will they be ready? How can we be testing them when you're tied into looking after this artist because you fancied doing that? So it becomes about, the management and, like you say, troubleshooting and looking after your team and making sure you've got the right team and board and all of this stuff.
I mean, it is incredible how, especially in our line of work, how when you become head of department or you're assisting head of department, how much management, like how many, you have to have management skills. And it's not like it's something that nobody's going to college for it. Nobody's going to school for it. You just...
No.
Trying to work it out as you go along. And I mean, we're a bunch of creative artists. So to be able to multitask with worrying about the creative, artistic side of it.
Yeah.
Then
it gives you sleepless night. It does me because, I have to double check myself all the time in terms of my management side of things. I'm like, okay, have we done this? Has that been booked? Is this prepared? Had the second unit got everything they need? Oh, shit, they've brought in another unit. Okay, what do we need to prepare for that? It's all of this stuff. And then the actual creative work that you've been employed to do and, just goes out the window. And I have to say that, there was a time when I think it's earlier on in my design career, because at that point you kind of feel like you have to do everything because you have to prove that you can do everything and that you're really great at it. And I had a very kind producer who I did a job as a key with them, and she called me and she said, there is a job and I'd like to put you forward for it, but you have to realize that you can't take on the responsibilities that you do have, that you do at the moment, because we're employing you for your design skills. You doing number one or doing number two, you will end up in trouble when you come to this level of picture.
Right.
So just to let you know, so you can put your team together accordingly.
Wow, that's some great insight on the producers.
Honestly, that would be, that probably goes under one of the best pieces of advice I'd ever been given. And, and reluctantly, I then had to watch, number one's makeup and hair slip out of my fingers, like handing it over. because you've got a show to do.
Yeah.
And it now it makes complete sense in that, you have to do the show. And, but great thing about it is that, when you have a team who you're still hands-on, I still, get a little go, because you have to sign off on it all the time, don't you? So you have to just go, oh, if this was just here, and just do a little flick or a little tick or something, just to own it.
Yeah. Get your hands in there somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And, most people that work with me will go, Sharon, what do you think? Do you want to have a look? Or, and then I'll go and check. And then I think, oh, yeah, it's great. What's this? And then I'll just touch it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll just touch it because I can.
That's great. It sounds like you're able to, you've been finding team members that you have the confidence in to just let them get on with what they need to do, though. So that's amazing. Yeah, no, it is amazing, because, I've got people that I've worked with, over and over. So they kind of get how I work. I feel like you get the best work out of people when they're at their feeling most confident and relaxed and feeling a part of the team. Yeah. So if I want something, I won't necessarily tell you how to do it. I'll show you what I want. Mm-hmm. And then your journey to get to what I want is yours. Yeah. Because, when I was assisting, and then I would be told, set it like this, do it like that, then you do that. And then you're so locked in to what you've been told to do and how it should be done that I don't think, you do a great job. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think you feel like any part of it is yours either. No. So it's like you're not as proud of it because you didn't have that. And there's creating. So you're not as committed because you're just a pair of hands who will just roll it just like this and just spray this amount of water on it so it's damp to just that level, and then you roll it, and then you set it, and then you do that. And I think, my God, you go home and your back is in pain, your arms are in pain because you're so restricted, but at the same time you have no emotional connection to it. Yeah, it's so true. It's such a good way to look at it, because it's just like, it's being that person to just be like, this is how I want this to look. However you want to get there. If you have trouble, then I'm here. Then I'm here. I've got your back. Yeah, we'll work it out together. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, for me, that's the only way to work, because, you find people are just content at work. And, I would never leave someone just completely in the lurch, like, oh, I want that. And then, and then they do it. And then, you go show and tell, and then it turns out and that's not what they want. And then you kind of drop them in it. I think, we all have to leave here believing in this. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. That's how you've got there. Okay, fine. I'm thinking that maybe if you had done this that little way, maybe we could make this a little bit more like this. And then when we go to show this, we're all in it together. Yeah. The thing about our department is that it's such a team sport. It's an absolute team sport. And that's why, you find, people, going up and collecting awards and just saying, thank you, bye-bye. And you just go, oh my God, the team, like your crowd supervisor, all of your crowd dailies. Yeah. You could never, ever be standing there without them. Oh, no, absolutely not. I'm always shocked every now and again when I come across someone who's just like, oh, I did this and I did that. And I'm like, are you the only person in the entire department and you did the entire film? No way. That absolutely always breaks my heart, because you just go, there are people that would be there way before you'd even turn over in your bed who are doing this, and then you kind of claim it all. You just, you can't. And that's why, I'm a massive team player. It's just about the team, making sure everyone is, checking with everyone, what's going on, how they're feeling, what's happening, all of that stuff. I'm really nosy. Yeah. I am too. I'm always up in people's business. Like, what's going on? I'm right up in there and knowing what's going on and, and all of this stuff. And if there's anything I can
do to help or whatever, then, I'm there. But, it's important. It's a long day. It's a hard day. It's a tough job. And, we just have to make sure that we look after each other. That, for me, is very important.
Absolutely. I was told recently, and because you know how you may like have a way of saying things or doing things and not really realize because it's just how you do it on a daily basis. And I had somebody say to me, she's like, "Oh, I love how you check in." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's just like, "Well, you'll just kind of, gently across the trailer, just go, hey, are we winning?
Yeah.
Are you winning over there? How's it going?
Yeah.
And she's like, I always feel like it's not a, you're just checking in. It's not a judgment question. It's just like, are you feeling like you're winning with what you're doing right now?
Yeah,
are you
exactly.
succeeding? Are you getting to the point that you need to get to? Or do you need a little bit of help? Like, how are we going?
And then you get to the stage where, you can literally just like you could feel someone like looking at you and they want you, and okay, I think I need it over there. And then you can go and be around and be supportive, be helpful. But all of that is such an important part of the department, which you cannot be taught. Those are things that you learn just by osmosis. And also when you learn through ways that you may have been treated in your journey up that you don't want to be replicated. Yeah. Because there is a lot of that, But at the same time, I think some of the less good experiences, you learn a lot more from them in a way than your kind of nicer people.
I think so. It's kind of frustrating that is the case, but I mean, you're going to remember those negative feelings more and be like, I don't want to make somebody feel like that. So those moments have stuck with me as well. It's just
honestly, they're still so raw. Like you literally, you don't need to go deep to find them. You do remember them. They don't go away. And I don't want anyone of mine, whether it's a trainee or a member of my team or anyone, to not feel valued.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some other skills do you think that are needed when you're a head of department?
There's your management skills, then there's your people skills. I guess just that sense of humor.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think you really need a sense of humor, because some days if you don't laugh, you will literally be sitting on the ground crying. You're just like, seriously? When you're caught in the middle of studios and producers and directors and actors, I mean, my God. If you don't have a sense of humor, then really I think you're in a hiding to nothing.
It's so true.
Because, it is. It's you just without, because by the time you've kind of, corralled everyone and managed everyone and, get yourself together and do all of that, you just got to be able to laugh at yourself. I remember one experience I had, which was, I always go, you got career highs, career lows, and this was my career low. I was doing the movie Last King of Scotland. Yeah. And it was it's kind of like my biggest movie that I had department headed, and I'm away on location as well. So we're filming in Uganda, and it's my first time in Africa, first time on the continent. There's no infrastructure for filmmaking there. Yeah. So anyway, Idi Amin, he had to have a wig. So, had the wig made and all is good. But we have a swimming pool scene. And Idi Amin, Forrest Whitaker's playing Idi Amin, and he has to dive into the swimming pool with this wig, and he has no hair himself. So, to anchor points are an issue. Yeah. So I decided to just glue the whole thing. I just have to just glue it as much as I can. And I had like a double wig, So cleaned his head, IPA, make sure there's, it says no grease as possible, put it on. And of course, it took ages to set up and all of that. So eventually he's not on set for hours and hours and hours. And, there's bits of it kind of lifting and I'm, fixing. Anyway, he dives into the pool, Jamie, and he goes one way and the wig goes the other way. He doesn't know he's not wearing the wig. So he's acting his heart out.
Oh, bless.
I stood there and I was like, that silent scream, that painting, the silent scream, my mouth was open, nothing was coming out. There was nothing coming out. And I was like, oh my God. And my assistant screamed at one of the extras, go get the wig, go get the wig. So anyway, he went and got the wig. So then he thought the cool thing to do is just swim over to Forrest and hand it to Forrest.
Oh my goodness.
Guess what? Oh my God, I'm going to be sent home. You just go, in the end, I literally had to sit there and just go, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously did everything that you could. You glued it on within an inch of its life, and it just what's going to happen is going to happen.
What's going to happen is going to happen because he has no hair to anchor this wig to. And then considering it wasn't even like his hero wig, it's a doubles wig, which we've kind of mocked up and, so it's in the white shirt, he dives in and all of this. And, we're going to try our best, but, if it stays on, it stays on. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And then poor Forrest doesn't know what's going on. He's acting away.
And at no point did they just think that they should say cut? Or
yeah, of course, we cut, and all of that. But all of that felt like about 5 hours. It probably was about,
of course,
a minute, but it felt like it was a day. And like, oh, the wig, oh my God. It was awful, absolutely awful. But yeah, we have to fight another day.
It's so did you have to do it again, set it up again?
I then said I could put the hero wig on. They've got the kind of, the diving bed. So where he's jumping in. So if I put the hero wig on and we could see him where he's already in the pool. So that's what we did. So,
nice.
They've taken that and then now he's in the swimming pool and then he can do his acting and do whatever he did and this can stay on.
Oh my goodness.
It won't take a dive.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's just gone.
Yeah. So what are some of the other locations that you've shot on around the world?
I've been really lucky actually in that I've really got to do a lot of travel, which is amazing because I love it. But I've shot in Africa quite a bit. Like I've shot in Kenya and Uganda and South Africa. We did Blood Diamond all around South Africa, Mozambique, then a lot of European stuff. And then my favorite, my most, kind of foreign and, the one I felt really kind of excited about is Korea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was it for?
It was for Okja with
Okja.
With director Bong, and I was there for about 3.5 months, living in Seoul.
That's awesome. I was wondering where you guys shot that. All
That's in
awesome.
Korea and Vancouver and New York. I think after that movie, I literally got burnt out with travel. I was done. That was kind of the last big travel I did on a movie because I was away for nearly half the year.
Yeah.
And before that, I was away. I was shooting in New York because I did Doctor Strange. I looked after Rachel McAdams because I look after Rachel whenever she's in Europe. She always asks for me and I do her makeup. And then she finished and then I took over Chiwetel. So I shot in New York. Came home from that, and within a couple of days, then I had to then head to LA to go start prepping on Okja. And prepping in LA for I was there for a couple of weeks prep, then came back, then I had to go to Paris to then find Tilda and hunt her down, then come back, and then before you know it, you're on the plane to Korea, and I was just I'm done.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, lost my grounding completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was
starts
hard.
wearing thin.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about Tilda Swinton, actually. What was it like to work with her? I imagine character development and everything's quite a collaboration with her, is it?
It's a very, very much of a collaboration. And it's, it's the tiniest little things with her. It's a massive collaboration, and everything gets thrown in, and then we start weeding out. Because she's very character driven. It's the teeth. It's the eye. Do I need a lens here? Do I need an extra tooth for this bit and then lose that tooth then for that bit? And do I want this? It's literally. I mean, it's a completely immersive collaboration with her, and it's fascinating to watch it all develop. Even like you're watching her with her costume, where she wants the padding for like a certain part of the character, where she doesn't want that. It's just amazing. I mean, she is incredible, and just such a warm human. She's you look at her, she is the ice queen. And then when you meet her, she is the warmest, most maternal, wonderful, caring woman that you could imagine. No, she's absolutely brilliant. Really,
that's
really
awesome.
brilliant.
So exciting to collaborate like that, I think, with someone who has so much input and just little subtle things that they want to do.
It's the subtleties with her, it's like, it's all the little things, and you kind of just figure them out, because even if you don't see it, she knows it's there and it helps her.
Cool.
That was, really, really great experience working with her. And when you work with her, you hang out, she's very a part of the crew, and you come here, it's like we finish on a Friday, she'll do drinks, it's really, really cool.
Awesome. I wanted to touch on A Cure for Wellness as well, because it's such a stylized film, isn't it? And I remember watching it and going, when is this set? Like, you just can't really work it out so much.
No.
So what was it like working with the director and everything, kind of coming up with the style for that?
Gore Verbinski, now that's an experience. He's amazing, because talk about collaboration. Gore is 100% collaborating from the very beginning. I mean, I remember when I started, and I think I had like 10 weeks prep. Gore was nice. Oh my God, you're already too late. Because he wants everyone on all the recce's, i.e. makeup and hair on the recce. I'm like, Jesus, please don't make me go. What am I doing there? But because when he's there, all his, he throws out his ideas, he throws out everything. So everyone's there catching what's theirs.
Right.
So basically the whole team needs to be there from the very off.
Wow.
And, and you take what's yours and you leave what's not yours, and you keep going. But, really proud of the look of that film. I thought, the cinematography was beautiful. The setting, that whole kind of clinical, timeless world that we created, and with all those bodies in the tanks and all of that stuff. I mean, that was a job and a half. I mean, all those tooth pulling and stuff like that. You had to test those to within an inch of their life, because, Gore has decided that he wants to see him extracting his tooth, and he wants it, when he pulls it, he wants to see the pop of the blood. Like, it should just pop when, the blood should be stringy. So now you're like, oh my God, how, what is it? What's the best thing? Is it hair? Is it cotton wool? Is it thread? Is it knitting wool? And so you sit there literally trying all this stuff, and then you bring them to him, and then you pull it, and then he sees it, and he's like, that one's good. That one's not so good. Okay, let's go with this one. But the attention to details is, second to none.
Yeah.
And, and he goes, whatever you've seen, whatever horror movie you've seen, anything you've seen, look at it and then throw it out, and then let's start the work.
Right.
Basically. So everything, and all those, those nurses in that hospital, and their crispness and their cleanness and their, they must just look odd. Like, oddly clean and
there's something
weird.
not quite right.
Yeah, it's all of that. Yeah,
I love
no,
it.
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I
No,
remember seeing the trailer and being drawn in immediately. Just visually, I was just like, what is this? I need to see this film. This looks weird and I like it.
It's an absolute visual. It's a visual feast. It's that film and Child 44, which again, great design, but then the films kind of don't really do anything because Cure for Wellness was too long and people didn't do anything, and then Child 44 again, which it was a great book, and then that kind of went off the rails for whatever reasons, and but the look of it, that whole kind of 1950s Russia. I mean, look at Noomi Rapace, and she wanted to be blonde. I'm like, Jesus, you want to be blonde? I thought, let's get a wig. No, I don't want a wig. I had a wig made. She came, we had the fittings, had the wig made, but, she knew what the plans were for her character, and she's like, a wig is not going to cut it. We have to bleach my hair.
Wow.
And she's dark.
Yeah.
And we did. She came out of it, and then, bleaching the eyebrows to match. I mean, there's a point, when she wanted to bleach her pubes. We had to go bleach her pubes because she wanted to go naked across the room. I was like, oh, this is too much. But, if she requested
sometimes
it,
you got to go there.
you had to go there, It's like at the end of the workday, go around and bleaching her pubes.
I love it. It's
honestly,
awesome.
The things we do.
Absolutely. Hey, now I wanted to touch on Snow White and the Huntsman as well, because I think that's pretty awesome to be able to have the opportunity to kind of, I guess, reinvent storybook characters a little bit, right?
Oh, again, another fantastic piece of work that I'm also very proud of, because it was just, when I look at that film, sometimes you look at things and you go, I just thought that was just seamless. It was everything just blended together. And our director, he communicated through drawings. So you had to make, whatever you were presenting, because he draws.
Okay.
And so, you had to draw it. My drawing is terrible. So I was given a concept artist with me who would bring my words to life, and we'd sit there and sketch, and I would do a terrible sketch and then he would improve on it, and then I would talk and then take away stuff, but the design work on that, and that went for like months. I spent one whole year doing that movie pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was booked, I think I was confirmed for that job, I think in the March of that year. And then there was soft prep. There were bits of concept work that would happen, and we would do a photo shoot, and and it would go on, and something else would come up, and there you were. And I think I started on it properly in the May. Yeah. And then I was leaving that makeup trailer on December 21st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my year gone.
No, it's very cool.
Totally rewarding though, like absolutely rewarding. And, and then we got to go to the Bake Off to present that, because that got down on the short list. And, and that was exciting, because I'd never kind of had an experience like that before. And when you're doing something that you love and you come from left field to it, a lot of things you don't think about on a daily do. You're just doing your work and just, hoping you can get through the day and then be back here tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, and then this comes up, and then there you are, and you're, inside these, hallowed halls presenting to the Academy and doing all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm a winner. I don't care. I really don't care. In fact, I am here doing this with these people. I think the worst part was, I think they do it in alphabetical order or something, and I had to go up just after Rick Baker.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, great.
They should just make him go last.
I know. Just let him go last because you know it and everything. But it was such a great experience, a great ride. I just thought, wherever this, because you get the countdown and you go from all the movies that's been made and you're down to 18 and something else, and then you're like, oh my God, we're like 7.
Right. So it gets down to 7 for the Bake Off. Wow.
Oh my God.
That's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, it was absolutely just, mind blowing because there was a lot of hard work that went into that, really a lot of hard work. The teams just worked so hard. And, Colleen Atwood was the costume designer. She's, really collaborative to work with. Once you kind of find your way with her, it's about the work. We get it done. And it was a fantastic experience.
That's very cool. I wanted to touch on cats because I wanted to understand. Yeah, I know. I was like, is this like don't talk about the war? Like,
how could we not? I mean,
it's awesome. But I haven't seen it, so that's a bit naughty of me to even bring it up. But I have seen trailers and clips and things like that, and I'm just wondering on a practical side for the makeup and everything, what were you guys doing on a daily basis? Like how much of it?
Yeah, on a daily basis, we were painting faces. So this is how we started. We started with, there was a concept from, there was like hundreds of people all over the world working on, creating these concepts and sending them to Tom, and Tom would decide whether he liked them or not, and all the rest of it. So he would present this concept. Of course, he presents the concept in 2D. And then, so now you have to look at this and make it 3D. And all the different colors that the cats have, all the cats, all the colorways and all of this stuff, we had to present those.
Okay.
And that was like torture because he was so precise. Because now we're going to then, the visual effects will then be overlaid onto it.
Right.
So any lines or anything that you have, they have to be precise and they have to be exactly the same every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then we did these, for the more kind of defined ones, we did these vac form masks. So then we could just measure it, fit it every day, and we know that's our positioning, and then we would colour in and, go from there.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of it that some of the ideas that I had, because everything was thrown at it. First, it was, I think he spent like a year in LA and he tested flocking, and then there was like another massive prosthetic test, which didn't work because you didn't see anybody, you didn't know who they were by the time you've got all the prosthetics on and the fur and everything. So then with all of that kind of process of elimination going on, it then comes back to basic face painting,
right?
Which that's where we ended up. So face painting and then dots. And those days were some of the longest days I have ever worked, because with our dancers, they have to have makeup before they warm up. And our lead girl, Frankie, she's a prima ballerina at Royal Ballet. And she has to have a 45-minute ballet class every morning. So she gets made up before that.
Oh, wow.
So we're getting them ready to be on set for, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So she's in makeup at 5 for an hour. Then she has 45 minutes getting into those suits, those motion capture suits. That takes like another 40 minutes. Then there is they have to calibrate these suits because, they're capturing their motions by computer. So all of these things that they're wearing on. It was the most technical thing. At one point I said to Mandy, do I really want to be a part of this as it was going on? And then I thought, well, actually, it's kind of cutting edge, because at some point this is going to be bettered, This is like the baby stages of this, and it's going to be bettered. So it's kind of good to see where it starts.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and just how it all works. And what your part in that was.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of knew that it was going to be one of two things. It was either going to be completely brilliant or completely shite. There was never going to be a middle ground with it. I remember talking to one of the producers one day. I saw him at a party, actually. We went at work, and he said, I'm having sleepless nights. I'm really, really worried about what we're making. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I kind of hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of hear you, but it was an experience. It was, a good experience. I mean, the fact that we survived it,
Yeah.
because it wasn't in. You had to do the dots. Then you had to do the visual effects dots all over the face, and the visual effects would be checking them when you go down if they're in the same place, and it's like, for God's sakes,
tedious.
Yeah. Details. I mean, Tom would sit there with a pointer stick, like the cat, we were to do the eyeliners like the cat's eyes, and he would sit there and it's like, one of that line is slightly pointier than the other, and then this one flicks just a tiny bit. Or, I mean, in prep, we worked so much overtime in prep, because he'd be there at rehearsals all day. Then he would come to us at about 5, 6 in the evenings, and we're not leaving there until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What were you using to paint the faces with? Because there's obviously, these dances and movement, and sweating.
We used a lot of stage makeup.
Okay.
Yeah, we use stage makeup. We use some of the MAC Pro, their grease, and some of their watercolors. And, oh God, what's the name of that brand? And we bought so much of it. Maron makeup. It's the Maron stage makeup, but that really was our best friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost just need to watch it just to see what everyone's going on about, because...
I have to say, when I watched it, I thought, actually, it's not that bad. I mean, the bits which are more normal are the worst bits. I think when it goes really spooky, like really out there, then it's just trippy. Yeah. Yeah, it really is just trippy. And, it's one of those things that you could just look at. You're like, okay.
I love that people are, it's nice to see people, taking chances and trying something that hasn't been done, and it's exciting.
That's what Tom was doing. It's like, he literally was just pushing it out there.
Yeah, it's good to see that the industry is, still moving and changing. And
yeah. That is, that was a good thing to come out of it. Cats, oh God.
I love it. Now, and talking about that, with the industry changing, what do you feel has changed in the industry since you've been working in the film industry?
Well, the industry has changed a lot. I mean, it's changed from, say what you see on camera. So yes, of course, technology has come in. So we've got the HD makeup. And then I remember when that came in, everyone was in a state of panic, because we were all like, what are we going to do about hair lace? What do we do about this? Because with this HD and the makeup, and you can see it and all of this. And I remember, starting to get worried. I was like, what are we going to do? Like with, again, the lace. And I remember going to this, they had a day's seminar at BAFTA, and all these DPs, like big Roger Deakins and all this, were kind of presenting and talking. And then they did this experiment where they shot the same scene with all the different HD cameras and the different filters, and you could see what details and how the details were changing as the filters changed and as the light changed, and how much kind of atmos you add to it and all of this stuff. And I came away and I thought, well, basically it's your finest film work, because pre that, if you worked on film, you just had to be, like super, super, soft with your makeup and everything. And it was more forgiving on the lace, I have to say. But I came away with that. So that's been like one of the bigger changes. But it's also changed in the way the department is now. It's what the department requires. It's like you need a coordinator because there's so much, paperwork and stuff to do in a department. Back in the day, we didn't have that. You had the team. And, someone would do the shopping when it needed doing and all of this stuff. And everything has just got a lot more sharper, more, I want to say professional, but we've always been professional. But I just think it's just that kind of that modern way. Everything is just slick.
Yeah, a bit more business.
Yes, it's a business. It's a business. That's exactly what it is. It's become a real business. So, we need a coordinator, we need the trainees, we need the juniors, we need the team, and we need all to be ready. And, we need to have our mood boards done, and we need to have our, zingy computery stuff that you can do. It's like, oh my God.
So true.
Yeah. It's a real business now.
So what changes would you like to see in the future then?
What changes would I like to see in the future? I think one of the things that we are doing, and we do that very well here, is the apprenticeship kind of business, where we have our trainees and and you kind of work through the ranks. I think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I work in America, I find it difficult that we don't have that.
Yeah, it is very difficult. I will just say that out loud right
now. It really is. Yeah. You just go, so who's the young person who's going to use the printer?
Flora said to me, she's like, but who gets your coffee? And I was just like, she was being cheeky. She was being a little smarty pants.
Who gets your coffee? Who does the printing? And all of that stuff. Somebody needs to take care of that. But what changes would I like to see in the industry? God, at this point, it's kind of difficult to say in terms of because of where we are and what's coming. This might be the change.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. Still racking my brain trying to think what I'd like to see changing. Can't think at the moment.
Shorter hours, maybe.
Shorter working hours, yes.
I think everybody across the board would like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, shorter working hours. Yeah, actually, that would be a very, very good thing to have.
So, what have you been working on recently that we can look forward to seeing?
Recently, last year, I did this amazing musical, which is supposed to be coming out this year. It's called Jingle Jangle. And it's a fairy tale musical. John Legend has written some of the music and he produced it. Forrest Whitaker starring, but it's a kind of it's a fantasy Victorian drama.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a black cast.
Cool.
With all these kind of the costumes just amazing because the costume designer Michael Wilkinson, who's just amazing, he's sourced all these kind of vintage African material and making like these Victorian dresses, big frocks with the material, and the men have it as the piping on their costumes, and I mean stunning.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning.
That sounds amazing.
The fantasy hair, I cannot even tell you. I swear. Sometimes I just pull up pictures of it on my phone and just look at it. Because
Sharon, this sounds so exciting. I can't wait to see it. That's so cool.
Yeah. We're talking big, big and just stuff. He's like, this director was just like, we want to push the weird. We want to make it cool.
Do it.
Yeah. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
What's it called again? Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
And then I just finished doing Eurovision with Rachel McAdams, so that's going to be on Netflix. That's launching.
I saw a trailer for that. It looks pretty funny.
Honestly, hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And that was good fun because again, that was a lot of character work. Rachel is very character driven, so it was a lot of character work going into that, because her journey, from this little Icelandic competition to where she goes and gets completely polished in the Eurovision, polished in that kind of over the top way. I mean, everything was larger than life. We got into trouble for some eyelashes that were just so big. The director was like, "No way!"
Stop it.
Like, but they're supposed to be like this, they're just too big, and she feels uncomfortable and all of this. But that was a journey with those characters, because, it's also like working on each one with her, like both of us just figuring them out, where this one ends and where that one begins, and what she would have at this point, and you're just kind of locked into that, which is, it's the way I love working, to be honest. I love, the whole really hunkering down and making it work. We did all of those. I mean, my God, I think she had something like, I think it was over 30 costume changes.
Oh, wow.
And probably nearly as many hair changes and makeup changes.
That's cool. Did you get to go to Iceland for any of that?
Yeah, we went to Iceland. We went to Iceland. Cool. That last video that we shot, that was in Iceland. That was really cool. So that'd be exciting. And I'm working on a new version of Cinderella, the one we need. And this one is directed by Kay Cannon. Very, very awesome. Fantastic female director, and that is, again, it's a musical, it's a fantasy, so again, it's big. You're talking like, the whole look, the way I describe it, the look of this one is anything from the Baroque period through to glam rock, anything within that.
That's amazing. You must be having so much fun, Sharon. That's cool.
Oh my God. The looks, the hair, there are some big hair, amazing. So that's what we're working on. And then we had to stop. So that's what we'll go back to in another few weeks by the sound of it. But so that's what I'm on now.
Awesome. Yay. I'm excited about these
really exciting
projects you have coming out. They sound amazing.
It's really just getting your hands dirty and getting into things, and getting creative. It's just, it's fantastic.
And whenever somebody says big hair to me, I'm like, oh, I'm there. This sounds great. I want to see it. I want to know what's going on.
Just be careful when you say big, because I do mean big.
Love it.
Are we kind of in the same big sort of arena? People say big, and then you go big, and they're like, oh, just a little bit down, maybe.
Yeah, no. I mean, they should still be able to walk through a doorway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
all I'm saying is just, I said, I'm going to go there. All you can do is rein me in. I'm going to let you just rein me in. You will never say push. Never have to say push a little bit more. You'll rein me in.
Yeah, that's, I think, a good way to work. It's just like, I'm going to just go for it, and if you need me to pull it back, I can pull it back.
Yeah, no, totally. So, so this is really quite exciting. Have those to look forward to.
Absolutely. That's very cool. So I wanted to ask the question that I ask everybody, and nobody can seem to give me one answer, but I'm after one tool or product you would not want to work without.
One tool or product that you would not want to work without.
I guess it's kind of like something that you use on every job.
Yeah. That's that thing. Oh, God. Which one is it?
It's okay. No one can give me one answer. They're always like, this, and this.
Which one is it? I think one of the things that I love, and from a makeup point of view, is that maquillage palette.
Okay, yep.
So that one, it's got all the colours, because you know that you can literally turn out every makeup from that, whatever they ask. If you have to do a bruise, if you have to do a beauty makeup, that palette, you could create that. So that I love.
That's awesome. Now, I was going to ask you one person you'd like to hear on the podcast.
Do you know who would be good, or I'd like to hear? Do you know Sean Gregg?
No, I don't know anybody.
Okay.
But I'm slowly through doing this podcast learning who all these people are. So this is amazing.
Yeah, no, Sean Gregg, she's really great. She has been Leo's personal since they met on Titanic.
Oh, I have heard of Sharon. Yes. Okay.
And she's doing Jurassic at the moment. And then the other person I was thinking of also was Faye Hammond. She has now kind of retired. Mm-hmm. She really was a real talent. Just loads of fantastic stuff. I mean, her last film that she finished on, she was doing Fantastic Beast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's just done loads of stuff. And she's so brave and fearless, you know, like I used to assist her. You know, she's just like, just whack it on, Sharon, just whack it on. It's like,
I love it.
Yeah, easy for you to say. Broad strokes, just whack it on. You're right. But she's, you know, she's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This has been brilliant, Sharon. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you for having me.
For links to see more about our guests, go to our Instagram at The Last Looks Podcast or our website, thelastlookspodcast.com. If you want to keep up with new episodes being released, be sure to subscribe through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, or any podcast streaming platform. And remember, if you're enjoying the show, share it. The Last Looks podcast would like to thank Brett Stanley and Sabrina Castro. The song Fun Time by DJ Quads. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
That's a wrap, people.